Yo, what's going on, guys? It's the L7C here, bringing you a Yu-Gi-Oh video. I've been wanting to do this video for a while, but I've always just pushed it off, just waiting to see new stuff that has come through the pipelines. But recently, obviously, if you're a Dark Magician, Blue Eyes fan, you know that they announced the Dragon Magia Master card, the new version of Dragon Master Knight, a couple weeks ago. I already know there's been a whole bunch of videos on YouTube talking about it, talking about ways to make it. I do want to talk about this card a little bit in a more grander scope with the Dark Magician and Blue Eyes archetypes. So Dragon Magia Master takes Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, or 3 Blue Eyes monsters, plus 1 Chaos or Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster. It has to be fusion summoned. When your opponent activates a card in effect, quick effect, you can negate the activation. If you do destroy it, you can only activate the effect of Dragon Magia Master in response to each card type. Monster spell trap once per turn. Basically, with him on the field, you can negate 1 monster effect, 1 spell effect, 1 trap effect. So you have 3 negates, basically just 1 for each type per turn on either player's turn. So that's good. This card leaves the field because of your opponent's card. You can special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster or 1 Chaos or Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster from your extra deck or graveyard. This was one of the 25th anniversary cards that they were announced in Japan, and they're getting that box. We'll probably get this imported into something sometime in 2024. But the negate part is really good. I think that's the best part of the card. The 2 worst parts of the card, which goes into the more Blue Eyes Dark Magician problem, is the summoning condition and the last effect. So first off, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which there are ways to cheat it out now, but let's just say Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which is 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, or 3 Blue Eyes monsters. Either or, it's going to be 3 Blue Eyes monsters in some way, and a Chaos or Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster. Here, the Blackluster Soldier and the Chaos Ritual monsters that you can use to fusion summon it. And then the bottom effect, you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster, or Chaos monster, or Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster from your extra deck or graveyard. So, the graveyard effect is never going to happen, because for the graveyard effect to happen, you have to summon the Chaos or Blackluster Soldier monster or the Blue Eyes monster properly. So, let's just say you did a fusion summon with Blue Eyes Ultimate and one of the Chaos things. Magia gets sent. Then you could special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster, Chaos monster. You can't special summon Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon because it wasn't properly fusion summoned. So with that effect, if they would have made that effect ignoring summoning conditions, that would have been some heat, because you're only getting it from your extra deck or graveyard. So if there's nothing worth bringing back from your graveyard, you're going to go to your extra deck and Blue Eyes monsters. Maybe if you have another Ultimate Dragon, Blue Eyes alternative. But you got to also look at the thing too of making sure they have to be fusion, must be either fusion summon, so you can't do that one. Must be either fusion summon, so you can't even do these 2. So you're already taking out your pool. So you got Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate, Blue Eyes Ultimate Alternative, but you don't even get the full effects of Alternative because you didn't fusion summon it with Alternative or Blue Eyes Ultimate. So the pool is limited. And then the ritual cards, most of the time you're not even summoning these properly. So I think that part is not good. So really, when this card dies, you're really not going to get that much out of it. And then the first effect, which I want to go back to people talking on YouTube, because again, there have been a whole bunch of videos. Obviously, there's ways to make this card. People have already talked about Ultimate Fusion. During your main phase, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra that has Blue Eyes White Dragon, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So you can get Blue Eyes Ultimate in the grave, one of these Chaos monsters, and get that rolling in the grave and get that rolling. You can do that. Fusion Armament special summons Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon from the extra deck, but you have to reveal Dragon Master Knight, which is another thing. You only have 15 slots in the extra deck, so that means you have to use one on Dragon Master Knight to do the armament play. And there's been a lot of people who've done the armament play, Nadir Servant, all of that thing. My main issue with all those combos that people have put out on YouTube is we shouldn't need all those different cards to make this type of card. And I think this is where Konami gets into the problem with the Blue Eyes and Dark Magician specifically. If you look at the past Blue Eyes Dark Magician fusions of recent, this one, Blue Eyes Ultimate or 3 Blue Eyes monsters and then the Chaos. Then you go to the one that just came out here, Dark Magician and Magical Dragon Magic. 1 Dark Magician plus 1 level 7 higher Dragon or Warrior monster, so they're trying to keep a guy the Dragon Champion, things like that. But that last effect, special summon 1 Dark Magician and Gaia the Dragon Champion from your hand, deck, extra deck, or graveyard. No Dark Magician player is playing Gaia the Dragon Champion in their extra deck. That takes a spot from where you can use something else. So putting an effect like that, enticing you to use that, that's not beneficial. If it's that special summon 1 Dark Magician or 1 Gaia, I think that'd be more people be inclined to play it, because then Dark Magician comes back after this dies, but you don't get Dark Magician back unless you bring Gaia the Dragon Champion. So then the other one that came out before that was still in 2000, Master of Chaos, a Dark Magician plus 1 Chaos, same summoning conditions as Magia the Chaos or Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster. Fusion summon, you get to bring a lighter dark back, you contribute lighter dark, banish all things. Big board wipe, fantastic board wipe. And if he's destroyed by battle or card effect, you get a spell added to your hand. Those are the past couple that have come out, and then Tyrant, really generic, Blue Eyes White Dragon plus a Dragon Monster. Love it being generic. And obviously the best one of all the Blue Eyes Dark Magician fusions of each respective brand is Dragoon, because it has everything you need in the modern game: protection, negation, burn, it has everything. So my thing with this is, why does Konami keep making these type of fusions for Dark Magician archetype, the Blue Eyes archetype, and they're not easy ways to summon? The fact that you have to go through all these different hoops and use all these different cards to make those type of monsters is one of the main problems with both respective decks. You shouldn't have to use Nadir Servant and freaking Fusion Armament and all these different hoops just to make this one big boss monster who he has negate protection, but it's only 1 spell, 1 trap, 1 monster, which is a good amount, but you get Dark Hole twice, the thing's dead. It can be destroyed by card effects, it can be destroyed by battle. Obviously 5,000 attack is a lot to get over, but people have done it. So my thing was going into 2024 and even beyond, because I feel like this video, people are going to be bringing this up all the time, is what do these decks need? I see it all the time. This deck needs this deck needs this deck needs that to be competitive, which for people, competitive, using on a regional, YCS level, those competitive type things. What does it need? So Konami's going to keep giving the Dark Magician archetype, the Blue Eyes archetype, more fusions probably down the road, because fusion was their only extra deck summoning in the original Yu-Gi-Oh series. So they're going to keep mixing stuff up. This was Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon over here with Magician and Black Chaos. Obviously Dragon Master Knight was that Blackluster Soldier. It's going to be a matter of time before they do just Dark Magician and Blue Eyes. They might be saving that for something, who knows. But in terms of the Blue Eyes deck, the main focus of the Blue Eyes deck is what? You get a whole bunch of level 8 beaters out, and then you start swinging, and then you go into rank 8s, sometimes level 9 synchro monsters, because you do the White Stone or Sage with alternative, get the pop, make a level 9 synchro. But you go into a whole bunch of rank 8s and attack. Sure, you have monsters like Chaos Max, who's self-protected, Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon, But that's the main focus. Rank 8's attack. Dark Magician. I mean, just a pure Dark Magician. You're trying to get to Illusion of Chaos, to get to Souls, and then Magician's Rod. You're trying to get Circle and Eternal Soul set as quickly as possible because that's your disruption play. And that's the main focus of the Dark Magician thing. Recycling, all of that stuff, so that you get a banish on your turn, get a banish on your opponent's turn. And that's the focus that they made when they made those upgrades back in like 2015 to 17 range. But people have said it now in this day and age that it's too hard to get to that disruption in the game. Obviously now, most Dark Magician players, they play Red Eyes Fusion, Turbo Dragoon. Let's go. That's what you do. Or obviously when Anaconda was around, you Anaconda to Dragoon. That was your win condition. Getting to Dragoon is your win condition. That's your boss monster in Dark Magician. And then Blue Eyes White Dragon, you don't really have a specific boss monster you want to get to. You just want to swarm the field and then do attacks and then make rank 8s. Like, that's not conducive of what both of these decks need now. So what Blue Eyes is, what I've said that they need, you need a different search card. So, Bingo Machine Go, reveal 3 cards from your deck that at least meets one of these conditions. A Blue Eyes monster, Speller Trap the list, Blue Eyes White Dragon, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. That's a fine card. Like, you're guaranteed to at least get one card you need. But how do you get to this card? That's the biggest thing. There's no way to get to this card. There's no Blue Eyes monster that searches this card. Blue Eyes White Dragon, their own deck, after all these years, still don't have a starting monster to get to the few spells and traps they have. Sage with Eyes of Blue is one of the Blue Eyes starting monsters. Normal summon, you get a light tuner. So you can get the White Stone to pitch, or you can, both White Stones, so White Stone of Legend, White Stone of Ancient, you can pitch those off. And obviously you can target an effect monster on the field, get a Blue Eyes monster. Dictator of D that recently came out, it's basically Blue Eyes Magician of Souls. Dump a Blue Eyes. And then you can special summon any Blue Eyes White monster, but you have to dump Blue Eyes White Dragon. If that was his special summon effect, if you can send one Blue Eyes from your hand or deck, this card would be really something. But you have to send a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand or deck to the grave to special summon it, and then you could discard a Blue Eyes White Dragon or a card that mentions it to get one Blue Eyes monster. So even the discard effect has to be Blue Eyes White Dragon or a card that mentions it. If it was just any Blue Eyes, again, that would really set the deck on fire. And that's what I feel Konami does with these legacy things. They put one word too many, or they take one word out too less, that would make these cards like really, really, really special. So, and I also just think they just got to make things easier for these type of things. I know everyone wants their own branded fusion. Like that's what everyone has said about the Dark Magician. Because Red Eyes has Red Eyes Fusion, which is kind of like branded fusion, but a lot more restrictive. But you just want one card starter. You send the 2 cards, you get a fusion, boom. That's what a lot of people want. Even for this type of card, you need a fusion card for this type of stuff. Because no one's going to run this in either decks unless they're doing it for YouTube, doing it for fun to see if they can do it with their friends. But actually, like playing, why would you waste an extra deck slot on a card like that? And you're not even wasting it on that. You're wasting it on 3 cards. You're wasting on Magia, Ultimate, and Dragon Master Knight because you're probably going the Fusion Armament play to dump it out. And the biggest thing I think both decks need going into the future, if they are going to keep doing this stuff, is why does Blue Eyes and Dark Magician not have their own fusion substitutes? I know it's been a while since we've had fusion substitute monsters. I know there's like the Light Hex Sealed, Earth Hex Sealed, Dark Hex Sealed, Fusion Paradise. There's also Goddess of the Third Eye. That's a fusion substitute monster. But have anyone ever thought of that or brought that up? Imagine if Dark Magician and Blue Eyes had their own specific fusion substitute monsters that they could search off of their cards. Like if you could Illusion of Chaos into a fusion substitute monster that has Dark Magician in its text, you're already halfway there to fusion summoning one of your big monsters. Or Blue Eyes White Dragon. If you have a thing that counts as any fusion monster in the Blue Eyes archetype or whatever, things like that. Like, I feel like a simple fusion substitute monster for both archetypes would do tremendous things for their fusion counterpart, like their fusion style if you're going the fusion route, because Dark Magician has a lot of fusions. A lot. Blue Eyes has a little less because they also have some synchros, but Dark Magician has a lot of fusions. So you give them a fusion substitute monster. Obviously, they got Timaeus, but Timaeus, you have to have a spellcaster on the field and all of that. Blazing Cartesia would even be is a better thing, but I think if they had specific fusion substitute monsters, that would help in that regard. And also if they had the one card type starter that everyone talks about, fusion specific, like, alright, you can fusion summon Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Let's just say it's called Blue Eyes Fusion. You can summon any Blue Eyes monster by sending the cards from your hand, deck, or field to summon it. Would make things significantly easier. Same with Dark Magician. I mean, you have a card like that, and you could put like, oh, you can only fusion summon the rest of the turn, or you can't special summon the rest of the turn. That's fine. I know those type of restrictions happen on those cards, but you do something like that, you're really getting those things flowing. Because it's really interesting how, again, Konami will do these things for like legacy type things. They're like, oh, we're making these cards because collectors are going to buy it. Fans of the anime are going to buy these cards. But from like a gaming thing, it's just like, yeah, we're just buying it to put in our binder but not really play. And I feel like if you're going to buy cards, putting them in your binder is great, but you also want to play with them because you want them to be viable. Like Dragoon, clearing away is the best fusion monster on this board. So, because look, even if you summon this Logia, 5,000 attack, summon Dragoon, Dragoon effect, pop it, Magia, try to negate Dragoon effect, Dragoon just negates it back, then it's dead. You lose 5k, game's over. Because Blue Eyes have no negating monsters. This makes me also always bring up Blue Eyes Shining Dragon because obviously if you watch Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie, this thing was the god card killer. It couldn't be, like, it was just amazing. Comes out of real life, it's one of the hardest cards to summon. You got tribute to Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and no one is doing that in any Blue Eyes deck. And he has self-protect negation, not overall negation. So the moral of the thing is that the Magia card is good. It has a really good, the negate effect is good. The summoning condition, terrible. The last effect, terrible. The fact that people are, the only way you're seeing it on YouTube is using a combination of Fusion Armament or Ultimate Fusion or Nadir Servant to dump some monsters, to cheat out some rituals to the grave. That's not how these decks should be played. They should be played using their own, they should have their own cards that are really good in getting to their fusion cards. Like, what other archetype makes all these different extra deck monsters, but makes it hard for their archetype to get to those extra deck monsters? Just think about that. That's the problem. You're making these extra deck monsters, but it's hard to get to those extra deck monsters consistently. You might get it once in a blue moon when you're playing around with your friend, but consistently, which goes into the competitive thing, because your deck, you want it to be consistent. That's a problem. Konami needs to take care of that. And that's just not for Dark Magician Blue Eyes. This is for any legacy deck. When you give them cards that they can't even use. And then in terms of their strategy, if you want the Dark Magician thing to be focused on still the banishing, all of that, that's fine. But you got to find other ways to get these out quicker, as the people say. Maybe you add more of the Paladin monsters. There's only 2 right now. Maybe you add some that gets you banishes quicker or gets you Dark Magicians quicker, things like that. I mean, Illusion of Chaos is one of the best cards ever for the Dark Magician archetype. And with Blue Eyes, you got to give them a monster that negates and has protection. Blue Eyes Jet Dragon is really good. Recursion coming back from the grave. Anytime a card on the field is destroyed, protecting your cards. from being destroyed, but he doesn't have any negation. There's no card in 2020, in the 2020s going forward and for the rest of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Every deck needs a monster that can negate an effect. It's just the way it is. And the fact that Blue Eyes don't have a card that says, alright, your monster activate an effect, negate. Blue Eyes, I don't know, Solar Dragon, let's just make a name. Anytime your opponent activates a card or effect, you can negate it. It's simple, but they haven't given that stuff yet. And who knows what they're going to do in, this is getting recorded at the end of 2023. Who knows what they do in the future in 2024. Maybe they give some negating type stuff to Blue Eyes because of the 25th anniversary. Maybe not. But that's just the way. They need to improve in that regard. Blue Eyes, two main things. They need a searcher for their spells. And they need a one-card searcher who can really get the deck going. And Dark Magician with all the fusions needs a one-card fusion that's better than Secret of Dark Magic. I like the versatility of it because it's a quick play. But it needs its own like Red Eyes fusion, Brandon fusion, Shadal fusion. That'll really get the Dark Magician deck going because you'll be able to open up so many possibilities. Because then, I mean, the Dark Magician deck, it's really not hard. You normal summon Rod or Dark Magic Circle, you ash one of those. Then if you add this fusion card, then you're giving yourself more opportunities and more avenues to open. That's just my thing on both decks, what they need going forward. Maybe if they get the stuff down the line, I'll revisit this video, see if it helps. I mean, I play both decks. If you've been on the L7C thing, you see that I play both. I play them combined too, which is crazy enough, but I have a lot of synergy with them. So I know, in a sense, what I'm talking about and what these decks need. They need more supporting cast parts, and they need engines. They need things to just get it going. Like, there's not one card that can be like, I play this card, Dark Magician Girls in the graveyard automatically. That puts Soul Servant Life to automatically be a pot of the grave, draw 2 cards. Or I play this card, I can search Bingo Machine type go. They don't have that. So that's what both decks need. Going off of Dragon Magia Master, the new version of Dragon Master Knight. So that's what they need, and yeah. This will probably be the last video of the L7C of 2023. So if we don't have another video, Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a great holiday season. Hopefully you've checked out some of the stuff, the end of your podcast, all that. And we're going to be back strong in 2024. L7C, signing out.